I am a new immigrant in the US, and I am naive about online romance scams. My daughter sponsored me to come here since she married a good guy whom which she met online way back in my country, the Philippines, but it was 10 years ago. Online scamming was not as bad in those days. I was separated from my husband, that I felt lonely and I thought I could find a good relationship online. I hadn't chatted to anyone before, but I got a lot of requests on Instagram from a guy online and I accepted and we began chatting. I chatted for a few times with a few guys at the same time, but I said to myself, I should find the right person for me who is sincere and true enough. In fact, I chose two and did video chat, but I chose him because I felt he was more sincere. His Instagram account goes by the name of Ivan Strand. He said he was a private industrial contractor who was born in Brussels, Belgium. His father was from there and his mother was from Canada. He said when his dad passed away, he and his mom moved to the UK and that he got married, but unfortunately his wife died during childbirth with the baby in the womb. He decided to come to the US to focus on his job since losing his mind there in the UK. I have a soft heart. I felt grief for him and we became friends and began chatting on Instagram. After a week, he said he felt something important in me and seen that I was nice, sincere, and caring, and that he is getting old. He said he's 51 and that he's looking for a lady to be his wife to start life all over again. And he found that he was very interested in me to be his wife. I said I'd have to think it over. It was August of 2018, and he said his birthday was in September on the 17th. So I told him, well, you will confirm my feelings about you on your birthday. And to make it short, I said that I loved him on his birthday and did a video chat. But it was so fast because I was heading to a doctor's appointment. He told me that he was with his colleagues celebrating his birthday. 2 days after he told me he has a contract presentation and that he needs prayers to win the contract since a lot of contractor building is going on and bidding. So I prayed hard for him. And on the next day, the presentation of the contract was done, and he sent me a photo of him presenting his contract. But he said he needed to go back the following day so they know who will actually win the contract. The next day, he messaged me. We moved from Instagram to WhatsApp, and he told me that I bring luck into his life and that he won the contract and even sent me a copy of his contract. The contract was on Alaskan Sea for oil pipe repair and blockage of the extension of the pipe on the oil rig. 4-week contract, $4.5 million. He promised me, after the contract, he will come to me and buy a house and we will be together. The next day, he told me he's already chosen a worker who will come with him and a cook and a doctor and a subcontractor. They flew very soon to Anchorage Airport because the company wants him to execute the contract. He was at the airport and he sent me a photo of him on a helicopter that he booked and they're flying them out to the oil rig. He said he would keep in contact with me as soon as they arrive on the rig. He sent me his business line, so we're texting on Messenger now, not Instagram or WhatsApp. It was after one day that he texted me and said that the network and internet is broken due to a recent storm. He asked me if I can help on his online transactions since there's no internet and it will delay his contract. I agree, and he gave me instructions on how I can open an email inbox on mail.com and with his username and password so I can see quotations and pictures of materials sent by a company in China for him to make an order. I helped him by sending emails to this company in China, by sending me what he wants to say through Messenger. It was so legit that I thought this company in China was replying back, so I would send the screenshots to him. He told me that he trusted me to help him order materials which I can then log on to his bank account, and he gave me all the login details and password and code and username. It was a standard bank from New York, and I did a transfer of $987,000 and it said the transfer was complete and successful. All information about China Bank was also sent to make the payment. The next day, he told me I needed to transfer another amount of money and that he needed some detection equipment since the one he bought could not detect a broken pipe. I was busy at work, but I did the transaction on my break, and I did wrong by putting in the wrong password, so I said I will do it when I get home. When I opened his email box, there was a message that said his account was blocked because the bank or someone accessing his account other than me and sent an email to a code to reply back to his number he used when he opened the account, but he was not using it anymore. He asked me to email the bank to help him since he's on an oil rig, but needs to come personally to the bank to rectify the account. He asked me if he can borrow $5,500 to buy the broken equipment. I said I don't have that kind of money. And I said, even though I love him, that money is hard to believe. I stopped communicating with him for a week, and he texted me if I would just help with $1,500 for a helicopter fee to fly from the oil rig, even if it might breach his contract, and getting out to go to the branch in Alaska to rectify his account. I have a few savings, and I felt pity on him, and I said, okay, I can help. I did wire transfer on my bank account money to a woman in a Citibank account in New York, and he said she is the secretary of the helicopter company. He told me the account was reduced by the helicopter man because he pleaded, and it was a Friday and the manager was not in for the weekend, so then I can fly. I even emailed TGE helicopter man and talked to him on the phone, but money was not received until Monday, and that the helicopter man could not fly because the manager was already present, and he didn't allow the reduced $1,500 fee, and the fee was actually $2,500. So I needed to send another $1,000. I did send it again, and he said he was on an Anchorage branch, but that the bank didn't rectify the account. It should be on the main branch. He had no money, so the helicopter man allowed him to stay first on their lodging house for a few days and again asked me for another $1,000 for a plane ticket back to New York. I made a personal loan from my bank to help him. Then he said he reached New York on the next day and it was evening there. I count the hours of his flight. When he texted, it was 7 hours from Anchorage to New York. It was midnight there in New York, and he said he is tired and slept off and that he had dropped his message. The next day, he went to the bank, but the bank said wait 3 days to open an account again. But he needed to get back to the oil rig ASAP, worried of a breach of contract. And just call the bank to inform me we can transfer money. To make a long story short, he went back to the oil rig in Alaska and again asked for a helicopter fee, but I didn't give it. He said he pleaded to the helicopter man because he lodged him again into the company house in Alaska to bring him back to the oil rig, and the plea was granted because it was a weekend that the manager, of course, was not around. After 3 days, we tried to make a transfer, and he said, I will transfer $100,000 to my account because I will do all the online transfers to him. The transfer's okay, and the last step was on hold. He said he called the bank, and the cost conversion code was due to pay. He said he needed to pay another $1,000. I was so angry and cried that I said everything was a lie. He explained that the money to be sent to me on my half so I can sort things out, I needed it until he comes. On my next paycheck, I try to starve so I can send him the $1,000 to open the code so I can transfer the funds to my account. He said we needed to send a code to a different company from a bank that he was using. We need to ask for the code, but when I sent the money, he sent me a new code. When I try logging in, I cannot access because the system was down and then we needed to wait to fix it. A week after I told him we needed to transfer, I think the system is okay. But he told me he received an email that his bank merged to a new bank and he needed to pay taxes, $1,500 to open the account. This, I figured out, was nonstop issues and just kept asking for money. So I stopped. And I have financial trouble already, and my daughter, who is coming, sponsored me from this country. He's still texting me until now that he will be jailed if the contract was not executed ASAP. The company will sue him for breach of contract. Only these days, I Google image reverse searched his picture and figured out who the real owner of the picture was, and it wasn't him. He stole the picture from a guy who owned an insurance company. I swear I fall in love with him, and I cry and cry when he called me. And I said I do not have the capacity to help no more. But he keeps asking, and he tries his best so we can resolve the account issue, so he can help me with some money. I prayed for him that evening that God please help this man to fix his problems. It was really hurting and breaking my heart. Thank you for letting me share my story. God bless.